When she calls you, go right up to the desk. If you have your question of your bond afterwards, we'll talk out in the hallway, okay? Nope, you're fine. If you get a PR bond, everybody in the room has to finish court. We'll get the paperwork about a half hour after the last person is done. So the judge may say you got a PR bond, but it's gonna be a while until we get the paperwork to get you out of here. Get you out of here as quick as possible.
Where you get a bond like that?
Again, I gotta wait for the paperwork before anybody can bond out, okay? That goes for everybody. So if you're the lucky person that gets to go first, you gotta wait till the last person, about a half hour after that, is before we'll get the paperwork. Today is nothing more than the judge will formally tell you what your charges are. She'll tell you what the maximum penalty could be, then they're gonna set your bond. This is not a time to argue with the judge, your side of the story, nothing like that,
Right.
okay? And get your own later.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good.
Everybody is in the courtroom. Everybody's been, everybody has received their advice of rights and their notice to appear for their next court date.
Thank you. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Anthony William Mitchell. Council appearance.
Right up to the officer.
Thank
Right
you,
up.
Your Honor. Vita Rothstein appearing on behalf of Mr. Mitchell, who is appearing via Zoom from jail.
Okay, you are Mr. Anthony William Mitchell.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, today's the date set for an arraignment. I have a felony complaint here. It alleges that on or about March 10th, 2023, at the area of 2013 Rio Road, that's in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, that you did allegedly contrary to law commit the act in count 1 of interfering with an electronic communication. It alleges that you did willfully and maliciously prevent, obstruct, or delay by any means the sending, conveyance, or delivery of an authorized communication by or through a telephone or telephone line, and that this was done contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.5405A. This is a felony, and the maximum penalty is 2 years and or $1,000 in fines. There's an habitual offender second offense notice. It says take notice that the defendant was previously convicted of a felony or an attempt to commit a felony, and that on or about April 15, 2019, he or she was convicted of the offense of attempted CCW in violation of MCL 750.227 in the 29th Circuit Court for Clinton County, State of Michigan. Therefore, defendant is subject to the penalties provided by MCL 769.10, which is 1 1/2 times the maximum sentence on the primary offense, or a lesser term. The maximum penalty cannot be less than the maximum term for the first conviction. Do you understand the charge and the maximum penalty attached to that charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have the right to be represented by counsel. You are represented today by the Office of the Public Defender for the purposes of your arraignment only, but you have the right to have an attorney with you at each stage of the criminal prosecution and if you're questioned by law enforcement. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, you can make a request to have the Public Defender's Office appointed to represent you at the expense of the public. Is your client requesting court-appointed counsel today?
No, I have a paid lawyer.
Okay. What's your lawyer's name?
Carla Marable.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and anything you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right to plead guilty. You have the right to plead not guilty, and you have the right to stand mute. You have the right in this matter to proceed to a preliminary examination within 21 days of today's date, that being your date of arraignment. At the time of your preliminary examination, you have the right to have the prosecution meet their burden, which is to establish that there's sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and sufficient probable cause to charge you with the crime. Do you understand your right so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you have the right in this matter to proceed to a trial. You have the right to jury trial. At the time of trial, you have the right to the presumption of innocence. You're innocent until the prosecution can prove you guilty. You have the right to remain silent at trial and not have silence be used against you. You have the right to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call. You have the right to call any witnesses that you would like to call or present evidence at trial that you believe would further a defense to the charge being brought against you. And you have the right to have the prosecution prove each element of the charge being brought against you. And they have to prove each element at trial beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you have any questions about your rights at this time?
No, Your Honor.
You have the right to be considered for pretrial release from custody, and we'll address your bond in just a moment. Are you currently employed, sir?
No, Your Honor.
What's your home address?
2013 Rio Road.
Okay, and that's where Miss Kaylin Mitchell resides as well?
Yes, no, she stay there with me sometimes, but she resides at 1505 Henry Street, Owasso, Michigan.
What's your phone number?
Area code 517-619-57 619-2950.
Okay, for the purposes of today's arraignment, did your client enter in a plea of not guilty? Ms. Worth?
Yes, he is pleading not guilty.
Okay, you're currently scheduled, Mr. Mitchell, for a probable cause conference before Judge Cynthia Ward. It's scheduled for March 23rd, 2023 at 8:30 in the morning. That can be held via Zoom, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you should have a purple sheet with the Zoom instructions in your hand, is that correct?
Yes, Your
Very
Honor.
good. And you have a preliminary examination, which is currently scheduled before Judge Ward, and that's gonna be on March 30th, 2023 at 8:30 in the morning. The preliminary examination is held in person at the court, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you currently on probation, parole, or on bond on any other matter?
No, Your Honor.
You can drop bond, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. In speaking with Mr. Mitchell, he has shared with me that he is currently unemployed, but that he has lived in the Lansing area for the past 2 years, and he does have his wife and children who also live here. It's also my understanding that he has not failed to appear for any previous court appearances. So we would respectfully ask for a PR bond. If not, then in the alternative, a lower cash bond. I believe that the finances are a bit of an issue, so I'd like to be able to see him get out of jail today if that is possible.
Okay, isn't the victim his wife?
It's my understanding from speaking with him, yes, that it was his wife, and he has children, also 2 children.
Did you use that as the basis for what she should get a PR bond, but if the victim is his wife, then I have a concern, because he just told me that she lives in Owasso. Does she live in Lansing or Owasso?
She lives in Owasso, but she works in Lansing, so she at my house every single day. I have my lease to my house. I'm the only person that's on the lease, and she lives in Owasso at her mama and daddy house, 1505 Henry Street.
Sounds good. So there is going to be a no contact order that's in place. You're not to have contact with Miss Kaylin Marie Mitchell during the pendency of this matter. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll grant the request for a personal recognizance bond. Bond will be set in the amount of $2,000 personal recognizance. While out on bond, you're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You are not to travel outside the state without prior approval from the court. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not to use, purchase, or possess drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Again, there's no contact directly or indirectly with the alleged victim in this matter. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon, and you need to report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're not to harass, intimidate, beat, molest, wound, stalk, threaten, or engage in other conduct that would place any of the following person or child of any of the following persons in reasonable fear of bodily injury. That would be your spouse, former spouse, individual with whom you have a child in common, or resident or former resident of your household. Do you have any questions about your bond conditions?
No, Your Honor.
You need to make sure you appear to court for all of your future court dates. Any additional matters for the record on this file, counsel?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part. What did you say?
Any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're on the record in the matter, the people of the state of Michigan versus Jacob Leonard Kelly. Counsel, may I have your appearance?
Thank you, Your Honor. Vita Rothstein appearing on behalf of Mr. Kelly, who is appearing from the jail via Zoom.
Okay, you are Mr. Jacob Leonard Kelly.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, today's the date that was set for an arraignment. I have a felony complaint here. The allegations that on or about March 10th, 2023 at the area of 1209 North Chestnut, which is in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, state of Michigan, that you did allegedly commit the act in count 1 of police officer fleeing 3rd degree under the vehicle code. It states here, being the driver of a motor vehicle to whom was given a visible or audible signal by hand, voice, emergency light, or siren by Officer Robert Forbes, a police officer who was in uniform, and the officer's vehicle was identified as an official police vehicle acting in the lawful performance of his duty, directing the defendant to bring his motor vehicle to stop, that you did willfully fail to obey that direction by attempting to flee or elude the officer, and the violation resulted in a collision or an accident. This was contrary to Michigan compiled law 257.602A3. This is a felony. The maximum penalty is 5 years and or $1,000 in fines, and the Secretary of State shall suspend your license for 1 year under MCL 257.319. There's a count 2 of motor vehicle unlawful driving away. The allegations is that you did willfully and without authority take possession of and drive or take away or did assist in or was a party to such taking possession, driving, or taking away of a motor vehicle, that being a truck belonging to another by the name of Olivia Tedder. This was done contrary to Michigan compiled law 750.513. I'm sorry, 0.413. This is a felony. Maximum penalty is 5 years and or the Secretary of State to suspend your driver's license for 1 year under MCL 257.3192B. Do you have any questions about the charges, sir, that was just read, or do you understand the maximum penalty?
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay. You have the right to be represented by counsel. Ms. Rothstein is representing you today for your arraignment only, but you have the right to have an attorney represent you throughout the pendency of this criminal prosecution, and you have the right to attorney representation if you're questioned by law enforcement. If you cannot afford to hire your own attorney, you can make a request to have the public defender's office appointed to represent you at the expense of the public. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Rothstein, is he requesting court-appointed counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, it's my understanding that he is.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say, anything that you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right to plead guilty. You have the right to plead not guilty. And you have the right to stand mute. You have the right in this matter to proceed to preliminary examination. You have the right to have a preliminary examination within 21 days of today's date. At the time of your preliminary examination, you have the right to have the prosecution meet their burden, which is to establish that they have sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the crime. You understand your right so far?
Yes.
You have the right to proceed to a trial. At the time of trial, you have the right to a jury trial. You have the right to remain silent at trial because you have the right not to have sounds be used against you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. So you're innocent until the prosecution can prove you guilty. You have the right to have them prove each element of the charge being brought against you or the charges being brought against you at trial, and they have to prove them beyond a reasonable doubt before you can be guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right at trial to see, hear, or question any other witnesses the prosecution intends to call. You have the right to call any of your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe would further defense to the charges being brought against you. Do you have any questions? And did you hear everything that I just stated?
No, Your Honor, and yes, I heard everything.
Okay, you have the right to be considered for pretrial release. We'll address your bond in a moment. Are you currently on probation, parole, or out on bond on any other matters?
I'm on probation.
Okay, before which court?
30th.
What judge put you on probation?
Tony Flores, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so that would be this court. Are you currently employed?
Yes,
Where are you employed?
at the Red Roof.
What's your home address?
4213 Birchfield.
– 4213 Birchfield.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the Howard address? Is that an old address for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your phone number?
517-980-0051.
What's your zip code?
48910.
For the purposes of arraignment, is he pleading not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor, he is.
Mr. Kelly, you are currently scheduled for a probable cause conference before Judge Stacia Buchanan. It's going to be March 24th, 2023 at 8:30 in the morning. That can be held via Zoom. You have a preliminary examination that's going to be in person at the court before Judge Buchanan on March 31st, 2023 at 8:30 in the morning. Did you get your notice to appear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, do you have any questions so far?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have a matter pending in circuit court right now?
No.
Okay, I see, Ms. Rossi, that he is on probation, but I think it might be the 30th circuit. I don't think that's here. I don't know because I see 3 different things on his criminal history, and one of them just says bound over circuit court. Does not have a disposition in here.
Yes, the only information I have is that he is on probation. And it doesn't say where he's on probation at, if it's district court or circuit court.
According to this criminal history, it looks like he would currently, or he possibly is on probation before both courts, but he's said he was on probation before 30th circuit, but he gave a 54A district court judge. Nonetheless, we do know he's on probation at this time. You can make your bond motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would respectfully ask for a PR bond, or in the alternative, a low cash bond. It's my understanding in speaking with Mr. Kelly that he has lived in the Lansing area for the past 6 years. His father lives here. He has a young son who also lives in the area. He has told me that he's not ever failed to appear to court. He does work full-time at the Red Roof Inn. So I believe that he will come to court at his next court date. And I do not believe that he is a flight risk.
Okay, well, given the nature of the allegations and a review of his criminal history and understanding that he's currently under court order, I don't believe personal recognizance bond is appropriate, or that it will ensure his appearance in public safety. So personal recognizance would be denied at this time. I will set bond in the amount of 7,500, 10%. While out on bond, you need to make sure you appear to court for all of your court dates. You understand that, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to use, purchase, or possess any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription.
Yes, Your
You're not
Honor.
to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court, and you're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You need to report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Is it 7,000, 10%, 700?
I said 7,500, 10%.
Your Honor, there's also a yellow folder there with his name on it.
Okay, thank you. We'll address that one in just a moment, sir. Do you have any more questions on this file?
No,
So
Your
it's
Honor.
10% of that is $750, sir, if that clarifies your question.
All right, that's fine.
Okay. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan. Hmm. Okay. He can have a seat. I'll call this one last. I have to go non-public for that. He can have a seat.
Mr. Kelly.
You can have a seat, sir. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Natalia Ashante Torrey. Council appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor. Vita Rothstein appearing on behalf of Ms. Torrey. She is going to be pleading not guilty today and requesting the assistance of the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you. You are Natalia Ashante Torrey.
Yes, Honor.
Thank you. Today's the date set for an arraignment. I do have a misdemeanor complaint here. The allegations are that on or about March 10th, 2023, at the area of 3200 South Washington, apartment 216, City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan, that you did allegedly in count one commit the act of child abuse 4th degree, and that you did knowingly or intentionally commit the following act or acts that under the circumstances pose an unreasonable risk of harm or physical injury to a child by striking the father of the child on his arm with a hammer while he was holding the child, and that this was done contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.136B. 7 through 8. Restitution may be ordered as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual under MCL 780.811A. That's a misdemeanor, and the maximum penalty is 1 year and or probation for up to 5 years. There's a count 2 of domestic violence. The allegations that you did make an assault or assault and battery upon an Alan Wiseman, an individual with whom you had a child in common, or a resident or former resident of your household, or an individual with whom you had a dating relationship, contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.812. Restitution may be ordered in that offense, as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual. This is a misdemeanor with the maximum penalty of 93 days and or $500 in fines. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Do you have any questions about the charges or the maximum penalty?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, you have the right to be represented by counsel. I hear that you are requesting court-appointed counsel. If you cannot afford to hire your own attorney, Public Defender's Office can be appointed to represent you at the expense of the public. Do you have any right or questions about your right to court-appointed counsel, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
You have the right to plead guilty, you have the right to plead not guilty, and you have the right to stand mute. The court will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf at this time. You have the right to proceed to a trial in this matter. You have the right to jury trial at the time of trial. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. So you're innocent until you're proven guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have the right to see, hear, or question any other witnesses that the prosecution intends to call against you. You have the right to call your own witnesses to trial or present evidence at trial that you believe would further a defense to the charge. You have the right to remain silent and not have silence be used against you. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
You have the right to have the prosecution prove each element of the charge being brought against you. They have to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you currently employed?
I'm on maternity leave right now.
I'm sorry?
I'm on maternity leave right now.
And your home address is the 3200 South Washington address?
Yes.
Okay. Where are you going to stay during the pendency of this matter? Because you won't be able to stay there.
That's my house. He's not on my lease or nothing.
Okay. But does he stay there?
He goes back and forth to my house to his mom's house. So that means he would have to go to his mom.
Okay. Well, I would need some assurance that he's not going to be staying there because there's going to be a no contact order. You understand that?
Yes.
Are you currently on probation, parole, or out on bond or any other matter?
No.
What's your phone number?
It's 517-649-6416.
You can address bond counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would respectfully ask for a PR bond in this matter. It is my understanding in speaking with Ms. Milton that she is currently on maternity leave from McDonald's. She does have 3 minor children, all of which live with her. So I don't believe that she is any type of a flight risk. She tells me that she has lived here in the Lansing area her entire life. She has other family that lives here, brothers and sisters. And in speaking with her, it's also my understanding that she has never not appeared for court. So I believe that she will come to court. I don't think that she will be a flight risk. I would respectfully ask that she receive a PR bond or in the alternative, a low cash bond.
Okay. Bond will be set in the amount of 1,000 personal recognizance. While out on bond, there's a no contact order for the protection of the alleged victim, Alan Wiseman. So you're not to be within 1,500 feet of wherever he lives, works, or goes to school. Do you understand that?
Yes,
You're not to have contact directly or indirectly with him during the pendency of this matter. Do you understand what indirectly means? Okay. You're not to have third-party contact with him either unless you get another court order that allows for that. Do you understand that?
yes,
Okay. You need to make sure you appear to all of your court dates, and you'll be mailed a copy of your next court date, which will be a pretrial. While out on bond, you're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Do you have any questions about your bond conditions?
no, I do not.
Counselor, are there any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor, just, which judge is she going to be assigned to?
I have no idea. I don't have that information before me.
Oh, okay, all
She'll
right,
get a copy of that in the mail as well as her notice to appear
okay,
before that judge, okay?
all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Janae LaShawna Milton, file number 15-03188. Council appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor. Vita Rothstein appearing on behalf of Ms. Milton, who is, my understanding, is pleading not guilty and requesting the assistance of the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you. Are you Janae Milton?
Yes,
Okay, can you place your hand up so I can see your face? Thank you. Ms. Milton, today's the date set for a probation violation arraignment. I have here a request and summons for probation violation for March 15th, 2017. States here that you allegedly violated the terms of your probation by failing to report back in March 2017, that you violated your probation by failing to pay the balance at the time, which was $100, and that you violated your probation by failing to submit to random testing back on March 1st, 2017, March 6th, 2017, and March 13th, 2017. So you have the right to have a contested hearing. You have the right to be represented by counsel during that contested hearing. If you're found to be in violation or guilty of the violations, you can be sentenced to a term of jail time, or you can have your probation status reinstated and extended, or you can be facing some other penalties such as fines and costs. You understand that?
Yes.
Questions about the violation or the underlying charges is rather old. It looks like you were put on probation by Judge Cherry. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Do you have any questions at this time about the violations?
No.
The court entered a plea of not guilty on your behalf. This matter will be set for a probation violation hearing before Judge Buchanan. Well, let me see. Might have been changed over. Yep, it'll be before Judge Buchanan. Are you currently employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
I work at Walmart in West Lansing.
What's your home address?
Right now, I'm staying with my mom. Her address is 3315 Jonas, Jonis, Circle, apartment 206. That's in Lansing, Michigan, 48906.
What's your phone number?
586-362-0953.
Counsel, you can address bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. I realize this is a very old case. However, we would still respectfully request a PR bond, or in the alternative, a lower cash bond. In speaking with Ms. Milton, it's my understanding that she was born and raised in Lansing, Michigan, so she is and she lives with her mother. She just started a job at Walmart, and in speaking with her, she was very concerned about making sure she could be able to keep that job. I know she wants to make sure that she can be out of jail so she can go to work. So I believe that is a good indication that she is not going to be a flight risk, and I'm hopeful that she will come to court for her next court hearing.
Did Ms. Milton turn herself in on this warrant today?
That I do not know, but I kind
How
of.
did you get picked up on a warrant, ma'am, or did you turn yourself in?
I didn't know I had a warrant. I was the passenger of a car, and they ran my name. And last night,
or early this morning. It was after midnight, and they told me I had a warrant, and so I was taken. And yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna be quite honest, counsel, I have concerns about her ability or willingness to return to court. This is a warrant that was issued back in 2017. While she was on probation for some alleged violations of her probation status. And so the allegations is that she absconded while under court order. And so who's to say she won't abscond again?
I understand. I believe that she was unaware of the warrant, in speaking with her, that she did express that to me as well. So I think now that she does know, and she's here and taking care of it and understands that it is definitely on the court's radar, I'm hopeful that she will return to court on her court date.
Correct. I recognize she may or may not have known that there was a warrant. That is possible, but I don't believe she didn't know she was on probation and that she didn't know she was supposed to be reporting. And so there's still the absconsion issue. And so I don't believe that I can release her on her own recognizance and trust that she will return to court on her own. But that is the concern. And I would hope that someone would want something from 2017 to be resolved, but that's not where we are. Let's see here. Deny the request for a personal recognizance bond due to the circumstances, and that being that I don't believe that personal recognizance will reasonably ensure her reappearance to court. Bond will be set in the amount of 2,010%. While you're on bond for the violation, ma'am, you need to make sure you appear to court. You understand that?
yes,
Okay, and you'll get a notice of when your next court date, that is gonna come to the address that you just provided us, okay?
okay,
That's the 3315 Jonas Circle address. You said it was apartment 2206,
no, it's apartment 206.
just 206. Okay, and so the address that was on file for Stafford, that's no longer a valid address for you, correct?
That's correct.
While on bond, you're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to purchase or possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Do you have any questions today?
No,
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, ma'am.